Hey Stampers, Diane Dimich here with DDStamps.com, and today this is the card that I'm going to show you how to do. It's a really fun card, and it uses the stamp set Butterfly Basics, the Butterfly Thinlets. And we're just going to use this one, but I wanted you to see that there are two other Thinlets in this pack, and this Thinlet actually coordinates up with this butterfly in the stamp set. So let's go ahead and get started. To begin with, I'm going to come in with a piece of crumb cake cardstock, and this one is 8.5 by 5.5. I scored it at 4 1/4 and fold it, and that's how I get my card base. So it's a half a sheet. Now this is a piece of Very Vanilla, and this is actually 4 by 5 1/4, and so it layers on top of that card base, giving me just you know, the same measurement all the way around. So it's 1/8 of an inch all the way around. And then I have another piece of scrap that's crumb cake to go ahead and cut out my butterfly. And I'm going to start with that to begin with. So you're going to come in with your big shot. See if I can make room here for it so you can actually see what I'm doing. Go this way. And then what I'm using is the magnetic platform, a clear plate, and this time I'm using a dryer sheet. And I'm going to show you a great way to cut out these framelits so that you can get all these little pieces of paper out and not have too big of a mess. And so then I'm going to lay my cardstock on top of the dryer sheet and lay my butterfly framelit on top of that. And we're going to run this through the big shot. And when it comes out the other end, you have got this, and you'll see where that framelit will pop right off the piece of cardstock. And if I pull that piece of cardstock off, then I can go ahead and pull the butterfly framelit off, and what you'll see is how those little pieces of paper inside there actually stick to the dryer sheet. And I just used a dryer sheet, though, what I had here at the house. But I would recommend that you get cheap dryer sheets. And if you like the scent, keep it. If you don't like the scent, go ahead and get unscented ones. But your butterfly does end up with a little bit of residue on the back of it from the dryer sheet, and has that nice scent, which is fine because this is kind of a springy card. So that's how you do the butterfly. And then what I did with my butterfly is I came in with some crumb cake and a sponge, and I just sponged the edges just to give it a little bit of depth to the paper. So I just sponged that all the way around on the edges, and then I'm going to come in with my Very Vanilla piece, and I'm using Old Olive ink, Lost Lagoon ink, and then of course the crumb cake ink. And I'm going to start with the kind of looks like a fence or a beehive, or it's just a background stamp. It's a great one. I'm going to go ahead and ink that up in the crumb cake a couple of times, and this does not have to be lined up. I'm just stamping it down twice just to give a little bit of texture to my background. And then I'm going to come in with the fern and ink that up in the Old Olive and stamp one that way. And stamp one that way. And then the last stamp I'm going to use is the Happy Birthday stamp, and that's going to go in the Lost Lagoon and come in right here at the bottom. So this is a very simple card. It's just doing that background, and then I'm coming back in with my sponge and that crumb cake ink and just sponging right around the edges of my card. Like that. Once I've got that done, I'm going to go ahead and adhere my butterfly using, oh, I have them right here, a little bit of dimensional. Let me grab a scissor. And I'm just cutting my edges off a little bit. As you can see here, I'm going to use the edge of this one. And just a little bit of a dimensional on the back of this butterfly, right at the body and towards the head. And add that onto my card. And then this whole piece is going to get added to the base of my card. Like that. And then I might just go ahead and just add a little bit of texture and maybe top of the fern right to the inside, just to give it just a little bit of something on the inside. And then the last thing I did is I came in with some of my rhinestones and the blendability, and these are alcohol-based markers. This happens to be the medium Old Olive, and I'm going to go ahead and color a couple of rhinestone embellishments and change them to green. And the nice thing about this is that it dries almost immediately on those rhinestones, and then they can just be picked up with a scissor or with your fingers, whichever works best. And just for the fun of it, I'm just going to add 3. Might be easier to do it this way. Or not. And get those lined up. For just a little bit, oops, for just a little bit of added bling. So there you have it. There's just a really fun card. I love the technique using the dryer sheet. So you can use that with any of your framelits that have lots of little holes. I know we have a doily that works great with that technique. So thank you very much and have a great day.